Last week I think it took about 25 minutes to get through the NFC East, which, Brad, you and I both thought it was an interesting division, and then we kind of get to the Redskins and the Giants, are just like, oh gosh, there's not a lot to talk about here. But this one, I actually think there's interesting storylines on all the teams, so we'll see how it goes. But let's just go alphabetical like we usually do, Brad. I'm going to hit you with the win. Baltimore, over or under 8 wins?
Ooh. Boy, I'm going to go over, baby. I like that quarterback they got, man. I think he can get them 9 wins. Come on.
Lamar Jackson. Gosh, man, these lines, all of these lines today, I think are tough lines. I think they're tough lines to bet. We've actually said that a couple weeks in a row. I think you and I, Brad, we both liked the Buffalo Bills action on the under, and I think we both liked the Dolphins on the over. But man, 8 wins for Baltimore. Here's the thing. I'm with you, Brad. Like Lamar Jackson, if he plays every week, I like what they're doing there. They always have a good defense, right? You can count on that with Baltimore. They're going to have good special teams. You can count on that, right? 2/3 of your, they're not moving the ball. They're not getting cheap yards on you on either phase of those two, the special teams or defense. Then you got the offense, and the offense can move the ball because they can run. Lamar Jackson, he's not the best thrower in the world, but you got to think he's going to be a little better, right? Throwing the ball. You got to think he's going to be better there. They moved Greg Roman over to the offensive coordinator. He was on the staff last year, but this is the guy, remember, he was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers when Nike spokesman, how do I not remember? Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was there and had his best years. Then Roman.
Dude, what is going on with that guy? Where is that guy? Sorry to interrupt. I haven't heard that weirdo's name in a long time.
Yeah, I think he's more, at this point, his career, honestly, he's a social activist at this point. It's pretty clear that
what?
The Ravens were going to sign him, and his girlfriend shouted off and called the Ravens owners like slave owners or something like that. That he was about to get a contract, and she basically cost him that. But you look, I mean, he's being blackballed. I don't think you can make any argument otherwise, right?
I mean, he stunk though. Like the last 2 years, he literally couldn't play football. Basically, what he did was he was incredible for 2 years, keeping the Packers away from the Super Bowl, and then he was horrible. That's the only function he served.
Well, the Packers for a couple of years there, I'm talking like 10 years, they could not stop a running quarterback to save their life.
You're right.
If you were mobile at quarterback, they had no chance, the Packers.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why Russell Wilson twisted their nipples for years.
Russell Wilson, Kaepernick. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah,
he couldn't figure it out.
And the Redskins for that same stretch were the same way. If there was, that's why Don McNabb would always destroy him, and the Redskins might have been like 20 years. McNabb would always destroy the Redskins. But anyway, Kaepernick at this point, you're right. I mean, he's not a great NFL quarterback, but because of his social activism, if you're the Seahawks or if you're the Dolphins, do you really want that circus? It's almost like Tebow, is like Tebow.
Well, no, you don't want the circus,
right? And
why have the circus,
right? And the people that support Tebow, right? The conservatives out there, me comparing Kaepernick, the super liberal, poster boy. I guess their heads are exploding right now, but it's the same thing, right? It's a circus that comes to town for a backup quarterback. Do you really want that?
No, you don't, right?
Yeah, and both in both of those cases, the player, by the way, in both of those cases, the player needs to be a better passer.
Exactly. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
he's not that good, and he's being blackballed a little bit.
Yep, and I think he's done, man. He won his big settlement with the NFL. There's basically saying that there was some kind of collusion to keep him out of a job. He won the lawsuit. I think he's moving on to bigger, better things and trying to make change. And good for him, man. If that's what he wants to do with his life, God bless him. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just it was almost like the first time I'd heard that guy's name in like
I know. I was shocked.
And it felt weird
because I probably devoted like 3 or 4 episodes to him last year in Functional Sportsaholic, like in the summer, and his name escaped me for a brief second there. So kind of weird. Yeah,
a little weird.
In a way, I'm kind of glad that I don't remember it, but not to offend anybody out there on either side. I actually, I support his right for free speech too. I'm just kind of glad it's not a detour off the NFL thing anymore. Although
that was a weird thing because I also support his right for free speech, but at the same time, if your employer wants you to dress or act a certain way because he's paying you, like you got to listen.
Or
you know?
if she's
Or
paying you, Brad. Hey, Brad, I got a riddle for you.
Good one. Good one.
Brad, we know what kind of world he comes from. Just smoking cigars in the lounge with the other mustaches. Not really. Brad doesn't have a job.
Oh, they don't care.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit back again about Lamar Jackson. So Roman, by the way, okay, so he was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers during those years. Then Roman went to Buffalo and was the offensive coordinator when Tyrod Taylor was having his decent years there. He's going to install kind of like a run-first base system. They're going to be able to run the ball. They have Mark Ingram there coming over from New Orleans. They have Gus Edwards, who flashed pretty well last year. They have some other good young running backs. I just don't think – I mean, I feel like this offense is going to be like a 58% passing efficiency offense, right? That's going to be like the...
Well, I know, and that's not a good thing. I hear you.
So,
but they're going to be kind of, what's the word, crafty.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a little bit crafty, which can get them to 9 wins. It's not going to get them to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I feel like this team is very similar to the RG3 rookie year Redskins, with a couple of differences. I think the Ravens' defense is better. I think the Redskins' offensive personnel was better. And I think RG3 was a little bit of a better passer. But that said, Shanahan, they did that. What was it? That mini shotgun? I can't remember what they called it. It was one of these buzzy things back then.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's not the wishbone. I can't remember. It wasn't the pistol. There you go. It was the pistol. They changed some things around, and they basically ran like the same concept play over and over again. And RG3 feasted on that read option, throw it, this little seam route to Jordan Reed, and they just or like a deep into Pierre Garçon, and they just feasted on that all year. The Ravens, they're going to be a little bit different. But let me say this: to me, the over under, I wouldn't bet it because I don't know if Lamar Jackson will be healthy. That said, I mean, I think RG3 is still the backup there. If RG3 took over, I think he would actually probably be a better passer. So, I don't know that I care if Lamar Jackson stays healthy.
Would he be a better passer? I mean, come on. RG3 was relevant like 7 years ago now.
He'd be better. Nah, man. He'd be like a 63% passer. So he'd be better. He'd be a better passer. Probably turn the ball over slightly less, I'm guessing.
I mean, those days when he was in Washington playing well, that was a long time ago.
I know. I remember, man. I think you took a trip to Chicago for his first ever game against the Saints.
Yeah, that's right. I did watch that game with you. Isn't that bizarre, man?
Yeah, man, it was a long time ago. But I what the hell? I'll give the Ravens 9 wins. Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
I think they can do 9 wins. I mean, they got Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh's a headache for sure, right? And then
Cleveland and Cincy.
All right. Well, it's a pretty good division.
Yeah,
it is. I give them 9 wins still. I'm not going back on it. I'm sticking to it. You guys can't change me. We didn't land on the moon, you idiots.
Boy,
Okay.
What a weirdo. Yeah, from fantasy point of view, look, I like Lamar Jackson actually because a lot of leagues, if you're in a league like most do, they reward rushing yards more than they reward passing yards. You usually get like 1 point for 25 passing yards or something like that, 1 point for 10 rushing yards. This is going to be a heavy run team. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he actually, if he can stay healthy, is possibly even a top 10 quarterback. My analytics have him in the top 10. I don't think I draft him in the top 10 in terms of quarterbacks, but he has that kind of upward mobility. But everything else kind of scares me. I think Ingram will do okay. I think Gus Edwards will do okay. This is going to be a committee. They're going to have their opportunities. I would say Ingram is better than Gus Edwards in terms of your draft. My issue is the receivers. You have Marquise Brown, Willie Snead, Miles Boykin, maybe Seth Roberts. You have Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst. I don't like any of them. I don't
like them either. And you know what? That should worry you because this is really turning into a wide receiver league. Increasingly, it's not a running back league. It's wide receiver. And if you don't have the guy back there, at least one of the guys, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and or at least a
running. Go ahead.
I was going to say, or a running back that can catch like a Terry Cohen in Chicago or something like that.
Yes, to supplement that.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I mean, this is going to be a smash mouth team, and that's going to win you games, and it's going to make you relevant. I mean, they're going to be a tough if they make a playoffs. They're going to be a tough team to play in the playoffs. That's awful.
Right.
Whether like that. It's cold. You're going to get hit by the offensive line, and the running back's going to be running downhill, and the whole thing. The whole thing is like the quarterback's there. I mean, it wouldn't. Brad, would this shock you if Lamar Jackson goes down? High ankle sprain or something in the first quarter, and then RG3 gets concussed in the second quarter. Would that surprise you?
No, it would not surprise me. Not at all.
Yeah.
Then who they got?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. But I do like Lamar Jackson, man. I mean, didn't he win? He won like what?
He was like 7 I think he was like 7-1 as a starter or something
awesome,
like that.
Right?
But you remember, so was RG3 back in the day before that, right? Now, but the difference is Lamar Jackson made it through and he's not hurt. Mm-hmm. So, maybe he puts some bulk on. Maybe he'll avoid hits. We'll see. I just hope that he can stay healthy because I think they'll be an interesting team. And Brad, like you said, we always think Baltimore's relevant, and I think they'll continue to be relevant here.
Yeah, agreed.